I mean, it's the point of the project when I'm ready to be done with it, you know? It is. It's the truth. I know I just started, but my soul needs a break. Hello, I am Gunnar Jethridge, and welcome back to YouTube's YouTube channel. YouTube let me take over their channel to get you ready for this season's biggest fashion event. Now, if you're not familiar with my work, I have taken on some really crazy challenges in the past. I've done anything you can imagine. Now, my challenge is to create a gala-worthy gown that is less than $100, which, as you know, is not a lot. You can barely get a gown for $100, so trying to make one from scratch, I'm a little nervous. I came up with an idea, and my fiance made this sketch of my idea for me because I can't draw. The idea is that we're gonna take really inexpensive fabrics like tulle nettings and little pieces of lace and applique and add them all together to make a gala-worthy gown. Every good gown starts with fabric shopping, so that is our first stop of the day. So the goal today is to find as many fabrics as I can for as cheap as possible. The biggest thing I need to find is a lot of tulle netting for really cheap. Usually you can kind of haggle. It's gonna be an intense day of shopping. However, I'm optimistic. I like to draw out on my dress form the lines of where the seams are gonna go, but basically they allow me to kind of like draw my pattern out on here without kind of committing to anything. So do you see how I can kind of see what this is going to look like now? This is kind of giving me a really good visual of what the actual garment's gonna be, and then I'm also gonna tape out the skirt. And now is kind of the fun part in which I get to make the pattern. I consider it the fun part. A lot of people hate this part. I'm using something called a cotton muslin. This is gonna allow me to trace out on my dress form exactly where I want the lines to be. Now is the not so fun part of a bunch of math, and as somebody that failed 2 years of algebra, I got a D in geometry, and I never got through algebra 2. Now all I do is math, and my fiance makes fun of me for saying this in every video, but it's the truth. I need 3 layers of the tulle netting in the nude and 1 of the black. I'm gonna try to cut all of them at once by like doing this like technique where I'm like folding it over. And my favorite way to cut is with a rotary wheel. Just cuts through everything. All of them are cut. Now I have to sew them all together. My coffee is no longer coffeeing, and I'm ready for a break. But I can't. I mean, it's the point of the project when I'm ready to be done with it, you know? It is. It's the truth. I know I just started, but my soul needs a break. Just want to watch Jurassic Park and sit down and sew, you know? I decided to take a little baby nap. I'm realizing this is like one of those dresses I've always wanted to make, but my skill set wasn't, you know, advanced enough, or I didn't have the money for the fabrics or whatever. So I got really savvy with, you know, trying to like make cheap fabrics go really far. Now, if you're buying Chantilly lace fabric, it can be hundreds of dollars a yard. So I don't have that kind of money. I did end up finding a beautiful lace trim on Etsy. It's about 3 yards long. It's polyester, but it's gorgeous. $12, that's all I spent on it. I don't think I realized that this dress was gonna have so many layers. This is like the 5th layer of fabric per piece. So that makes this dress 40 pattern pieces, and I don't even have a skirt. It's crazy. Ta-da! No, I'm just kidding, it's not done. There's a lot of other things that have to happen in this, but like, I've got to get it all together first before I can even add in like boning or the cups or anything like that. So here we go. It's officially 1:30 in the morning, and I'm ripping a seam out. We've hit delirious Gunnar. When I was a kid, my grandma, I would go show her something that I had sewn, and she'd go, "Where's your little friend?" And she'd be talking about a seam ripper. This is a seam ripper. It's a cruel piece of equipment that makes you rip out individual little threads. This is called boning, and it gives stiffness to the garment and helps hold everything up. In the olden days, they would also use things like whalebone and carve it down, and occasionally it would puncture through the fabric and stab them. Isn't that crazy? Now we're just using plastic. I'm gonna get back to this, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, and then I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Welcome to day 2 in the studio. I made a lot of progress tonight. You can kind of see her back there. So today the goal is to cover the cups. One thing about these giant looks that are for galas are that usually if they're by a designer, they have a whole team of people sewing them in the back. I don't have a team, it's just me and occasionally my fiance. This is literally all of the lace that I have left. My God, that looks good. I've gotten real good at corsets. I've been wanting to make this forever. It's really cool to see it kind of come together. It's gonna be so good. The bust cups are sewn on. It actually looks really, really good. Now I can work on like doing the rest of the work on here. Good morning. I'm working on the skirt. Honestly, I've decided to do a few things. I'm going to stitch the bottom of this corset onto the skirt, and then I'm gonna cut the skirt away. I now have to remove all of this and hope that my pins went through every layer. If it didn't, I have to put all of this back on, which is terrifying. Oh my gosh. It didn't pin to the dress form at all. It's on. It is tulle time. Now the biggest score of the day was the black tulle netting. I was in a store and I saw a roll that was almost on its way out, and I asked the guy, hey, if I buy this whole thing, will you take 50 bucks? I did not think he would say yes, but he did. I came up with this idea of adding on a bunch of these godets at the bottom, and it's gonna create a fullness. They're gonna start right at the knee. I cut a bunch of these. Thankfully the tulle netting was so inexpensive, so we got a lot of it, but now we have to kind of like drape and kind of figure out like what it's gonna look like and how it's gonna move and what it's gonna give it that kind of like wispy shadow feel. It's like sculpting, honestly. One of the questions I am most frequently asked is how to remove the fabric from the dress form once everything is pinned in place, and I have to say my favorite trick is just to lock everything in with a little bit of steam from the iron. Okay, it is late, but all of the netting is sewn on, which I know it looks like nothing, but when it's stretched over the body, it's good. Day number 4 in the studio. Girl, she looks so good. This is the day I always look forward to. I love the hand sewing. I love the finishing work. This dress is over, because at least there's a dress. So I'm tucking these underneath of the pleats. I'm gonna do it layer over layer so it just kind of stacks and feels like larger. I want to have this beautiful lace hip detail, and I was not able to afford or find anything that I liked, so I am going to pull from my stash. Well, one of those things I pulled is actually a remnant fabric that we used on Chapel Roan. This was what we used for the face mask that she wore to Orange Festival, and then she later wore it again. So I know that this could technically count, but I'm giving myself a small pass because I got inspired and I want to use it. I have to decide if I am adding on these little tassels and this like little hip tassel thing. I love the dress as it is, but I'm having a moral dilemma of like, I feel like versions of this gown exist, and in order for it to be my version, I need to do something that feels like me. I understand also that a lot of you will see this and be like, it didn't need it. I know it doesn't need it, but no one needs a gown like this. I did decide to add the beaded trim, and with that, the gown was finished. But before I reveal it to you, I think we need to talk about the budget. Okay, let's start the tally on the budget. We had $6 in a tan tulle netting, and then $12 for a black lace trim, $3.90 for bust cups, and 40 cents for underwire. I had $5 for boning, $50 in black tulle netting. I had $12 in stretch mesh for the skirt, half a yard of beaded trim for $10, and yes, there was a little bit of a cheat, but I pulled from my stash for that tassel trim and lace applique. Now, the one thing I did not account for in the budget was my labor cost, as that is my gift to you guys for this video. But it's also why these gala gowns are so expensive. The countless hours of labor and love put in by these artisans are truly what make these gowns so spectacular. Before we go, I wanted to share a few of my favorite fashion designers here on YouTube. I love Crescent Shea, Sarah Hambly, Makara Tours, Judy Gao, Dominique Elise, Charm Patterns by Gertie, and Kiana Bonolo. And if you like fashion content, don't forget to follow my channel. Until next time, bye guys.